Hey guys, what's up? It's me again, Tom from TDT Tom's Tech Time, again from too warm Germany. Last week it was raining and now it's too warm. I know I'm kind of complicated. Today we're talking about the DJI Phantom quadcopter, and I'm using the DJI Phantom 2 Vision Plus version 3.0, but actually the IMU is kind of the same with all the DJI Phantom models. So let's just get right into it. Many people have asked me, Tom, why is my copter drifting away even if I release the sticks? Why isn't it steadily hovering? Why is it drifting away? So describing that is pretty simple. I'm a filmmaker, let's just create a short story. So let's just imagine our UAV would be a car and you drive it on a bumpy road and you see a bad person that you freaking hate in front of you and you crash into him only to make him mad a little. And yeah, you're simply not treating your car too well. What happens is probably that the axis breaks or something like that, or at least you will have to straighten the axis because the car would only be driving like this now from now on. And kind of the same happens to your UAV when you, I don't know, have a crash, or when you simply carry it in your hard case and simply bump that on the ground or something like that. The IMU can get distracted pretty easily. And finally what happens is that the copter, if you release the sticks, the copter always goes back into a horizontal position like this. But now, after all these bumps, the copter could think that the horizontal position would be like this. And the result would be that the copter simply drifts away to that side. So it's pretty easy to understand actually, but how can we solve that? How can we solve the drifting away problem? Let's get right into it, and I'll show you how to get this done. I'm too warm. I need some winter. And I'm a filmmaker, I'm going to apply an effect right now. Stay tuned, 1 second only. Oh, so people, I crashed something, but now I'm feeling comfortable. Finally, made the snow fall from the sky now. Perfect, that's how I like it. And now let's get started watching this freaky tutorial of mine.
Before we take a look at the software, let me first tell you how to correctly attach your copter to the computer. Doing that is pretty simple. You take the USB cable that came shipping with your Phantom, plug the one end into the UAV and the other end into the computer's USB port. Now we start the remote control, and finally we power the Phantom as well. And now we switch back to the computer and double click the DJI Phantom Assistant. Actually, it doesn't matter what version you're using, of course it should fit your copter though. I'm using the DJI Phantom 2 Vision Assistant 3.8 for this example video, but it works with all different Phantom models the same because the IMU doesn't change. The first thing we gotta do within this software is we gotta click at Tools, and that opens up the IMU submenu. And all these instantly changing values and the weird sounding words have a very confusing effect at first, but if you want to understand the meaning, it will be super easy for you to deal with this page. And don't worry, I'm neither a technician nor a math genius. I had to learn things myself as well, and I can assure you that understanding the IMU isn't such a big deal. Let's now take a look at what all the data shown means. The gyroscope at first is a tilt and speedometer. It measures if the copter is situated correctly in air. The acceleration, as the name already tells us, measures the thrust, the speeding or up or slowing down of the copter. It measures if the copter is currently moving or if it is kept stationary. The compass that we see down here isn't part of the IMU, being honest. I'm not even sure why DJI placed the compass values into the IMU submenu, but they did it and now we gotta deal with it. The actual IMU sits inside the NASA M module, while the compass sits at the outside of the copter. Being precise, it is attached to one leg of the copter. Within this tutorial, I'm not going to cover the entire compass calibrating topic again. If you're interested in that, please click at this tutorial of mine popping up right now. Next to that, you'll find a link pointing at my compass episode right down in the description. Now let's get back to the actual IMU issue. What do X, Y, and Z mean? We have to remember that our copter is moving within the three-dimensional space. And to visualize that, some super intelligent freaks probably hundreds of years ago came up with a very simple way to get this done. They created 3 axes on which you can simulate three-dimensional movements. The x-axis is the horizontal axis, the y-axis is the vertical axis, and the z-axis finally refers to the depth of an object moving in 3-dimensional space. It's easy to understand, but actually, if you didn't understand it, doesn't really matter, because the interesting value to us is the one shown right here, where it says mod, which stands for modification. It gives us an average value of all 3 axes together. So the current modification value, saying the average, would be something around 0.2, 0.3. The modification value shows the deviation from the target. By looking at the mod value, you can find out if your copter needs calibration or if it's already calibrated well. The gyroscope mod value should be 0. Slight changes are okay though. If the value is between 0.5 and 1.5, basic calibration is required, and if the number even increases, you should think of doing an advanced calibration. The acceleration mod value should be 1. Again, super slight deviations are acceptable. If the shown value is between negative 0.95 until negative 0.93, or if it is between 1.02 and 1.04, you could do a basic calibration. If the value shown is lower than negative 0.95 or higher than 1.04, you could already think of an advanced calibration. The compass mod value should be close to 500, but don't be afraid if your copter shows a complete different value. The huge seeming deviation is normally caused by magnetism or electricity that bothers the copter while you have it attached to the computer. In my case, there are, I think, 8 external hard drives and a huge computer with tons of cables right underneath my copter right now. They confuse the the compass. And again, if you want to know when and how to correctly calibrate your compass, click at my tutorial. The link can be found in the description. And if you think all of this was too complicated to you and you simply want the computer to make a decision, you can always click at check Imu Status. And now this pops up and it says no need calibration procedure can be skipped. But in your case, it could be saying calibration is needed. And this would mean that you would have to do a calibration. You can click OK. Now, let me shortly cover the difference between a basic and an advanced calibration. The basic calibration only takes a few seconds, while the advanced calibration can take up to 10 minutes. Of course, the result achieved by the advanced calibration is way more precise because the copter had enough time to calculate good average values. Finally, it's up to you what calibration method you choose. And because my copter actually doesn't need calibration, I am simply going to choose the basic calibration. So what you do is you click at basic calibration, and now an info pops up and that says, please keep the main controller stationary and horizontal during calibration, or recalibration is required, which only means that we shouldn't be touching the copter at all. And of course, the copter should be placed horizontal. And yeah, that's all. And now I'm going to press yes. And now, as you can see down here, this green bar loading, this means that the calibration is currently going on, and bang! It has worked out. 1 right here, which is perfect. And yeah, 0.1, 0.2, that's fine as well. And everything has worked out super successful. So guys, thanks for watching. I would be very, very glad if you would right now check out tomstechtime.com/donate and leave a donation, because I want to get a new copter here, either the Phantom 3 or the 3R Solo or the Inspire 1, or maybe even the Inspire 2 if that gets released soon. I hope it gets released at least. And yeah, would be super cool if you would leave a donation and let me check out a new copter for you guys. Thanks for watching. This was Tom from TDT Tom's Tech Time Now. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, rate, and yeah, leave a thumb up. That's pretty important. And ba-ba-da-bam. Have a nice weekend. Have a blessed weekend. Have a blessed day. This was Tom. Over and out. Stay tuned.